Like Siamese, are you mad? Mad.
Wagwan people, this is your boy MarQus Romelle here, and this is my Where It Started documentary, Where It Started, how it started, and where we're going. And the compliments I've gotten from industry people who have worked with people from like Michael Jackson to Gladys Knight, Justin Timberlake, you know, whatever the case may be, they've all come across me through music. So right now, we're literally out where it all started. Hillcrest View. This was the first house I ever lived in back in the day, boy. So many memories on the street. I remember this shop was open. That's the craziest thing to see it now. I don't know what they're doing with it now. But so many memories from this off license. I remember during I think it was like Halloween times, I used to go there and get, you know, I don't even remember those weird like finger things you could get for Halloween, those weird nail things. I used to always get them. I just found them so much fun. It was hilarious. And just so many memories on this street, because if you lived on this street, you lived right by Carnival. So every single year you heard that music booming, banging. It was so dope. I love the vibe, I love the feeling. And even in the house as well, obviously you got, I remember my nan used to play a lot of soca, a lot of reggae, and a lot of country music. I don't know what it is, but you know, Caribbean grandparents and country music. I'm sure I know your nan and your granddad used to play that stuff as well, but it's amazing what influences that have on you down the line in terms of your eccentricity and eclectic kind of tastes when it comes to music. Because if you think about all of that combined, that's a lot of culture you kind of exposed to early on. And it really kind of shapes and molds who you are, not just as a person, but as an artist without you even knowing it. Because I knew from time I wanted to do music. Just from day, I just knew. And from there, it was just kind of like, that was my, here was really my ground where I just got in touch with sonic. When I say sonic, I just mean audio in general. And what that means for me. And how I internalized that. Just I remember being 2 years old and getting the 1988 Michael Jackson calendar. My nan giving that to me, you know, putting that up, having my little toy stereo my mum got me and just blasting the music from there. That was my introduction. And I remember my first ever song I used to sing, my auntie used to tell me was feeling hot, hot, hot. I used to sing that all the time before I could even talk properly. You know, he was the yard as well, man. So many beautiful memories. And that just literally kind of gave me the kind of grounding I think I needed really moving forward. Just thinking about everything, all those memories, especially music, a lot of musical memories here, just a lot of music playing, a lot of sounds just being taken in around me, and just living on this block. You know, my uncle used to live over the road as well, right, just opposite. And you don't realize until you come back here what these beginning grounds mean to you and how they've actually influenced your life moving forward so many years down the line. You know, it's kind of beautiful. I'll never forget that. Hillcrest View, man. My block. Is where the singing literally started, or where I really started to take it seriously. Because I remember Paulette Morris, aka Joseph, who some of you may know, right? She used to run the singing class just over there, in that room over there, and he used to come down here with Kyra and my boy, and because he knew that he was already singing and writing from since we're like 4 years old, he was already on it, and I always wanted to sing as well. It's like, yo, let's come down here and do this thing. So I was like, cool. Came down, vocal group as well, Young Nation, back in the day. There was like, the first there was 2 of us, then there were 4 of us with Jamal and Jermaine, and then my boy Michael joined, which made 5 as well. It was an amazing time, so many great memories with that. And on top of that as well, here upstairs actually in the Mandela Center is where we did our first showcase. That was our first performance, and we did a lot of performances here, especially from between like the ages of like 8 to 11 especially. We did so many shows here to really get right, really hone our craft. It was beautiful, the kind of mentorship that Joseph offered with everything. And to be fair, Judah as well when she come down, because I learned harmonies from Judah, and I never forget that, because I always wanted to learn how to harmonize, and Judah taught me, because she was like the harmony specialist within Royal Blood. That was the name of the group between Judah and Joseph. Legendary around here. If you don't know about Royal Blood, get to know about Royal Blood, trust me. Still Roots as well. So I remember just coming down here, and Still Roots would come down as well, so we get to interact with the band and get to learn what it's like to work with the band as well, and do more live music stuff as well as the recorded stuff. Just really kind of get to grips with everything that was going on. It was a beautiful time. Because for me, I don't even see them as separate as well. I see them as an intertwined artistic entity, as to whereby I don't see one without the other, especially when I'm on that stage. The two are so interwoven and intertwined and intrinsically linked for me personally, I can't separate them unless I'm specifically doing a dance show or a vocal show. Apart from that, as MarQus Romelle, the two are intertwined, and we're a part of each other. You know what I mean? Where literally I am singing, I am dancing. I can't choose just the one because both of them encompass exactly who I am as an artist.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild.
Doesn't make sense now. Shit just got worse, things are getting intense now. I hear you talking about weed, like always be fresh now. Giving me a sign, so I gotta take it in now. I hate you all like, do you want to hang right now? On the east side, you know what to do right now. You say, do I wanna watch, do I know what time it is right now? Yeah. It's after 2 a.m. that's asking me right now. All she talking about is come see me first, come see me first. You never come to me, you never come to me.
I believe out of the two, I think I get, in terms of on an industry level, I have to break it down on an industry level, I think I get respected for the music more, purely because that's what's brought me the most opportunity, the most accolades. It's what's opened the most doors for me. It's what's brought me the most accomplishments. However, having said that, it was dance that initially got me in the door of show business, because my voice was still changing at the time. You know, when you're so young, you're a teenager, you know, you're going through those trials and tribulations as a young man. Dance kind of got me in that door because I could do both. And then it was interesting because through dance, my first tour actually was dancing. And it was ironic because it was through that and they found out that I'm a singer as well. I was like, oh, okay, well, hey, we're doing this tour in the Caribbean. Come do this. You know what I mean? So it was interesting because I've always been respected for the dancing as well. But I think for the industry wise, it was more so the music, and it happened that I could dance as well. That's awesome. That's great because I can do both at an elite level. But I think locally, for those who maybe weren't aware of the music accolades as well, they'd know me from dancing in certain shows or with certain crews because they weren't aware of the plethora of other things that I'd actually done. So they may think, oh yeah, MarQus is a dancer, until they see all this music stuff like, what's all this music that you do music as well? You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I think overall, it's definitely the music. But I think the dance is also up there as well, just on a lesser level, purely because of accolades and opportunities, what it's open for myself and what I've actually done with the two of them. But again, like I was saying before, the two are intrinsically linked as well. So when I'm going, say, towards any kind of opportunities now, it's often both that are embodied and both I equally push to use. Like if I'm doing a show, people are always going to ask, oh, if you got dance in the shows, oh, that's great, you know what I mean? They never ask for one or the other. When it's MarQus Romelle, they expect music and dance, do you know what I mean? And that's my personal selling point, if you know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely respected for both, but I think overall, pertaining to my accolades and everything I've accomplished and the compliments I've gotten from industry people who have worked with people from like Michael Jackson to Gladys Knight, Justin Timberlake, you know, whatever the case may be, they've all come across me through music.
You get to a point where you really want to expand the artistry and everything was already take things further. That's when they let us do shows. We rehearse there and we ended up doing shows in like town and different places as well to really kind of explore and get to grips with other settings and really kind of expanding as performers. And it was just beautiful. I loved every second of it. And just being upstairs in youth club as well, playing a lot of pool. I remember Dapper taught me how to play pool. I never forget that. I don't know if I'm sure Dapper must remember that as well, but it was him who taught me how to play upstairs in Mandela, and then I come downstairs to play basketball in the gym as well. And on top of that, in the summertime, we come out here because I'm a huge basketball fan. Basketball was my sport. I was never a football guy, partially because I was never good at it. But basketball that was my thing. I was like, yo, I could drop off anybody in basketball. It was weird how kind of music and dance and basketball kind of correlate with the whole movement, with the movement of it, the speed of it, the drinking and jiving of it, the speed and pacing of it. It's like high-speed chess in a way, and I kind of parallel that with the music and dance as well, because it always reminded me of high-speed chess. Whenever you're putting together a performance or a song and both of them together for a live set, they kind of all correlated in a kind of strange artistic sense. So when I was playing basketball, it just felt more of an offshoot to what I was doing in the rehearsal studio. You know what I mean? I remember coming here, I don't want to mention no names, but I dropped off some people in these courts. Some people got dropped off hard between here and Potty Park. There's one guy in particular, I'm not going to say his name because I know people will know him, and I don't want to put him on blast like that. But there's one guy in particular where I beat him. I think I was about 11 at the time, and I beat him one summer, and he knew my dad, and then I was asleep one day at home, and they came back to call and I thought he was there to see my dad. My mom thought he was there to see my dad, but now he came back for me for a rematch. And I was like, what? I'm asleep at this point, so I'm just waking up. And my dad's like, MarQus, so-and-so's here for you. So I'm like, are you serious? He's like, MarQus, come. Took me in his car, drove me back up to the court, dropped him off again. It was so jokes, I swear down. That was one of the most funniest memories I've ever had. But yeah, man, it's just crazy. I'd literally go from singing and dancing in the rehearsal space with the group to going to play basketball, to go into youth club, to go back to the rehearsal studio. I was all over this place. I just loved it. I just loved the energy of it. I just loved the graft and loved learning and just expanding as a person. This place, it really molded my childhood, man. So many great memories here as well. Boy, but yeah, man, the same class especially. I don't know if things like that are still going now, but it really helped us as artists and really pushed us to achieve greatness on a larger scale, and I'm forever grateful for that. Now, Leeds Media Center, or as it used to be known as back in the day, Host Media Center. Here was really where I really got my first experience recording on record. And I'll never forget it. Just being in the studio for the very first time, right here, getting in front of that mic. I remember it was such an overwhelming experience. It kind of caught me off guard the first time. I think it was around, was it early teens, I believe? Yes, because by this point as well, obviously doing all these shows and everything, they started encouraging writing and recording your own music, especially with these summer projects and things like that used to go on between Mandela Center and Host. So you had like the dancing stuff and the graffiti stuff and all that were going in the summer school at Mandela. Then you come over here to do the music side and the film side as well, and that was just a whole different experience. Kind of made you a well-rounded kind of great person to see all aspects of the industry. And also as well, Kareem, R.I.P. Kareem, man, God rest his soul. He used to run the radio kind of teaching format here, and he used to go to him to learn radio formats, radio interviews, how that would go down, how you would be interviewed, how you would interview somebody else, how everything works, how the engineering side works. He taught us a lot, man. I never forget that. We did that a good few years here as well in regards to that, so you kind of got to see every aspect of what you would be getting involved in if you were to get into the music side of the entertainment industry. So that kind of learning ground was priceless. I used to look forward to it every single year because I knew I'd be able to get better, I'd be able to explore more, I'd be able to learn more and be more prepared for the business that I wanted to go into. So for other people, it may have just been a summer school or an experience to kind of something to experience or something to do. But for me, it was serious. I thought, this is my career. So I was here for much more serious reasons than say the average youth would be here for. And it was because of that, I remember, I never forget, I think it was around 2003 times maybe, where I met Ashadon for the first time. That was cool because I already knew Jaden. I knew Jaden from back in Leopold Grove days. We used to play together in that street, I remember he was MCing at the time. He was a dope MC. I still remember some of his bars to this day from what he cut later down the line. But I met Ashriel for the first time. So obviously his pops used to help run the music side of the summer schools to that as well. And where I first met Dialect too, it was devilish at the time. You know what I mean? So I never forget that. That's when I first got introduced to them guys and, you know, Illness Crew and all them lot, which was really great, because that's something who kind of connected a lot of us who were singers, dancers, creatives and all sorts. This was like the kind of meeting ground, I think, for everybody, where it kind of started. So many people that came through here, man. You know, oh my god. Yeah, because there's so many people, you know, we met down here. Remember Bookshot? My Godfather Bookshot used to run the studio downstairs, so he always had time for me and everything too, so I used to go down there, record sometimes to get some music done. And went there, and I don't know if you knew, I'm kind of jumping forward a little bit, but later on down the line, there was a label here, an independent label for a little bit called Northside Records. And that was where I first met Yasira Bells. You know, you might know her as Yolanda as well from South Africa. She's back over there now, doing her thing, you know, movies, music, all of that. She's dope, she's amazing. Her and I became really close, you know, as artists and that too. We spent a lot of time down here as well. This place. Yeah, my cousin Dula as well. My God, when he was over here from Bronx, he was one of the dopest MCs I'd ever come across. He used to work security behind the desk too, so I just used to come down and kick it with him. And he used to spit so many bars as well. Just when we would just be chilling, it was just all music, all love. There was also the listening opportunities as well that bring like people down here from the BBC and other radio stations and other mediums as well to listen to your music, let you know how you're doing, give you advice on what to go on moving forward. We did the BHI projects here as well. My God, the BHI projects, I never forget those. Under Pressure was one of them, and the GUM project too. That was all to do with kind of music and film and everything, and that oh my gosh, that brings back so many memories. So I was just exposed to so much, both personally and professionally here, and it really kind of prepared me for what was to come, which was a good thing for what was to come after that. I would have never guessed after that. And I was briefly with Leeds Young Authors here as well. So that was a great time, but I was just promoting to London, but don't worry, we'll get to that. Fortunate enough and blessed enough to perform a lot, not just around the UK, but internationally as well. I mean, my gosh, when I say I've had the opportunity, thanks to Stedman and Denise and the late great Buster Pearson, all the group 5 Star, who took me on my first international tour around the Caribbean. This then expanded to other places in Europe as well. First place we touched down after that, boom, Italy. That was phenomenal. We were performing in what was like a Colosseum as well. It was like an old school Colosseum kind of vibe, and it was crazy. Funny fact about that show as well, I've shared this story a couple times, but not that many people know. I'm on stage, I'm singing. We had head mics on and everything. It was my first time with a head mic, just like Janet Jackson. It was so sick. And I was on stage, and this guy looks at me, jumps up on stage, and literally he's like must have been about 6'4", big dude, and he just runs at me to give me a hug, and I ran for my life across the stage. Everybody killed themselves laughing. It was hilarious. And I know he just messaged me, he was like, oh, I love you, I think you're great. And I was like, thank you, but it scared me, you know, being a 19-year-old kid. That's a scary thing to experience, you know what I'm saying? A big dude chasing you across the stage. Your first thought isn't just to stand there. So that was incredible. And, you know, after that we hit Italy as well. I remember we hit Switzerland. Switzerland was amazing as well, because not only did I do the music thing in Switzerland, I remember we also did a dance thing there as well at one of the biggest clubs. I forgot what it was called. That was a phenomenal experience. Switzerland is one clean country. I mean, clean. My gosh. You feel like you could probably eat your food off the sidewalk. It's that clean. It's mad. But just that experience of being in a club that size, it was huge. It was so big, it had a cinema in the club. It was that big. It was mad. It had a cinema there, and it had like a little cyber section where you could use computers and that too. It was crazy. It was insane. The Leeds, you know about this place, the Leeds Playhouse, formerly known as the West Yorkshire Playhouse. My God, now when we talk about where it all started, where it all began, the next level, now moving on from Mandela and that, here is where all like us artists met everybody from kids. I'm talking about we've had to start with the talent shows that used to go on here back in the day. I never forget the first one I saw personally was in '97. My cousins and then did it. Sean and Lyndon and them were there as well doing their thing. It was so dope. And that's when I was like, yo, we need to come down here and do this talent show. So I remember I spoke to Kyron and I was like, yo, Kyron, Young Nation needs to be in this talent show. We need to get on board, we can win this. So boom, 98 hits, we're here. You know what I'm saying? We're determined. That talent show was huge. Everybody was there. Everybody knew about the talent show. If you was a singer or a dancer, you came to be in that talent show, you wanted to win. You know, we came down here, 98, did the show, ended up winning. It was crazy. It was awesome. That was one of the most awesome experiences of my life. And to move on from there, what was even more incredible was that same year, our cousins who were in a dance group called Sunshine Crew ended up winning the dance side. So our family just took gold all around, cleaned up. Oh, it was so cool, I'll never forget that. And here's where we met other artists as well. At the time, you know, people like Denisha, we met down here, it was crazy. Bianca Gerald, we met down here. Simon Howard, tremendous people right down here. Stella, Caution Collective, we met down here. And Carnival Messiah was we auditioned for it here and performed it here, was on the Quarry Theatre. That was my introduction to theatre. That was literally, I think, really starting point in terms of my professional career, where I realised what it took to actually get to that elite level. And that's thanks to people like Geraldine Connor, God rest her soul. Thanks to people like David Hamilton, who really took the time to groom you in the most grueling but constructive and productive sense to really get the best out of you. I didn't understand it at first, because David Hamilton, he was so hard on you. But after seeing the results of his hard work put into me and me giving that hard work back, I realised the measure of what hard work is and how that directly affects your professional outcome. Doesn't matter how talented you are. If you put that work in, it elevates you to that whole other level. And I took that to heart and I carried that on moving forward. So I really, really thank David Hamilton for that. Especially he taught me the essence of professionalism and hard work and consistency at the most grassroots hard level, no nonsense hard level. And I never forgot that, and I wholeheartedly appreciate that so much. This place, man, because even remember '99 as well, came back again to defend the title for the talent shows, but we ended up coming second. I was vexed for like a good solid 2 months because of that. Not really competitive, so I remember that we came second. I was vexed, but still, my cousin Sunshine Crew, again, they entered the show and they ended up winning '99 as well. So we took silver and gold that year. That's not bad. But I remember after that, it was like, I remember some of the members of Young Nation and things of that nature, they wanted to go and do other things, solo stuff, rap stuff and all of that. I always wanted to be in a group. I didn't want to be a solo artist, but they wanted to go do other things. So I was like, fine, so kind of like, you know, left on my own. So the next year after that, hitting around 2000 times, Sunshine Crew back again defending the title. They knew I could dance as well. So they were like, hey, cuz, you know, why don't you join the group? I was like, yeah, sounds like a good idea. And of course, after that, well, we ended up cleaning up. Won gold again, took gold. So I think, yo, my family, remember as a dance group, we took gold like 3 years in a row. In total, obviously I won 2 of them. But obviously they took 3 in total. So we cleaned up like 3 times. Don't forget, we were dominant down these ends. It was freaking amazing. Oh man, never forget that. Just so many talented people came through here. You know, NCAP as well was down here. Who else? A lot of the LSM results stuff as well. Before the LSM results have all started here through those talent shows, through Carnival Messiah, through those theatre projects. Everything. This was literally the breeding ground of talent. Whether you're a singer, dancer, MC, came here. And here's where you prove yourself on a young kind of professional level to really move forward. And the Playhouse gave us the opportunity. So it almost felt like home. It still feels like home coming back here, even though it looks so different now and it's all built up, it's looking beautiful. It still feels like home to this day. Just looking at it now, I can't help but smile. Just think about all those beautiful times that we had. You know, those literal blood, sweat and tears that went into this place. LSM Results was like a project as to whereby I remember we'd work with young people from around the city to bring them together to nourish their gifts in, like, you know, music, dance, acting, things of that nature, theatre, and all of that. And Chantal Davis, she had this vision to put together this show called Fairy Tales from the Streets. And I never forget that because I really loved every second of that. I was choreographer for that show. And I remember I got involved with LS7 Results at around 18 years old. The first time when we first started putting all the rehearsals and everything together and kind of building the early foundations of that. So I remember when I was around 18 years old and I first got involved with LS7 Results as well. I was in a dance crew called Lock and Key at the time as well with Safina. And I remember getting involved with them to really start the rehearsal process and build those early foundations of what would lead up to Fairy Tales from the Streets, which would be eventually debuted here at the Quarry Theatre 3 nights. We pulled that off because of Chantel's vision and all of our hard work into that and all the beautiful young people involved in that show. And Jodie Aisha was the lead in that show. And Chantel's her sister as well, so you already see the visionary kind of bloodline going on there. Obviously Jodie killed it as well. That was my first meeting of Jodie. No, I met Jodie just before that, but when I really got to know Jodie was during that whole process, mentoring her and everything, and rehearsing her and that. And obviously you already know what she went to do from there, you know, killing the charts and that. Much love to Jodie, still talk to her to this day. She's a beautiful person, amazing artist, love that girl. And here was kind of where it all got put together. Here is where we later rehearsed. After rehearsing at Little London Community Centre, we came here, leading up to the show itself. And it brought me back to everything I learned from Carnival Messiah and instilling that into a whole new generation of kids. That was beautiful. So what we accomplished with LS7 Results, I'll be proud of forever. In between there as well, I went to France for the Drums for Peace tour. That was incredible. That was my first touring experience actually, in terms of being in one country. Outside of the UK was actually France. I forgot about it. That was before the Caribbean. And we did that. That was thanks to, ironically, the work Bridget was doing at Mandela. She wanted to open up doors down there to get people out to Europe with the European Youth Commission to go perform. It was my J Bravo and them guys, you might know them as the CAG faction, they went out the year before. I did, and then I went out there the year after with Bianca G, my girl, I love you to pieces. Nathan Eno, he was there as well. And Stephen Johnson, one of the greatest b-boy mentors I've ever had. I love that guy to pieces. We're all out there, it was all singing, all dancing show, it was phenomenal. You know what I mean? Fast forward a little bit as well. I touched upon it earlier, just before we go back to London, I was in Portugal. Mad story about Portugal, right? I'm in Portugal performing, we're dancing, blah, 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 it's all good. Great show, everything like that. I'm thinking, man, this place feels like home. I feel at home here. I don't know what it is about Portugal, I just felt at home. Lo and behold, down the line, what do I find out? Oh yeah, your man's family come from Portugal. It's like, what? Yeah, came from Portugal to the Caribbean. Because I don't know if you know, but there's a lot of Portuguese in the East Caribbean, so a lot of St. Kitts and Nevis people will have Portuguese heritage because of that migration from Portugal, which is crazy, right? It's mad. But yeah, because I remember one time I was at my nan's house, relating back to that, and I said, no, who are all these, olive skin looking white people? She was like, they're your family? I was like, oh. So that coming full circle, being in Portugal, I'm not even realizing that I'm in one of my ancestral homes. It was insane, and we did that twice. I had the opportunity to do that. That was tremendous. That's, this place right here, the wardrobe. Oh my God, this brings back some fun memories professionally for me personally, because after the Playhouse stuff and everything, once I was 18, I was on tour in Portugal, I believe. And my boy Nada was already starting his professional dance career down in London, and he got an opportunity to audition for an artist called Stedman from the legendary group 5 Star from the 80s. They've broken numerous records. If you don't know about 5 Star, look them up. They're in the Guinness Book of World Records for the stuff they accomplished. They are incredible. And Stedman brought me down for an audition through Nada, who hooked it up. So straight after the tour in Portugal, head down to London. Bear in mind, I'm still doing my A-levels at this time as well. So from there, he brought me down, and we were doing rehearsing for his projects and everything, and then from there he took me on my first tour around the country during the summer whilst I was doing my exams. That was fresh. That time was fresh. And then he took me on my first international tour, and that my first international tour was in the Caribbean. Remember, we hit Antigua, we hit St. Thomas, we hit Trinidad, and man, I forgot the other islands as well, but it was so cool. And it was that from there which kind of helped me propel me musically. And what I mean by that is how my dance relates to music, because dance got me in the industry. So my voice changed me at that point. I got in as a teenager to really helping solidify, because I made the contacts I needed to make. I kind of proved myself, and when they found out that I could sing, from there it kind of opened doors up even more so on this tour to really expand. And when you're performing with Stedman and Denise, you know, from 5 Star, and under the guidance of the late great Buster Pearson, I love that man so much. He gave me so much mentorship on what it means to be a musician and be an artist. Call upon me, check on me, give me advice, etc., etc. So then, boom. After that, now time goes forward a little bit. I dropped my first promo single, Now You Know.
All eyes on me as I walk straight through. Got my collar popping cause you know how I do. The singing beat brighter with a flow so smooth. Hitting you hard like I'm the headline news. Tell me if you feel me, let me see you show me love. Ladies come and holler at your boy, give me hugs. One of the last seven's finest, there's no denying this. So get up out your seats and take a ride with me, here we go. The beat's got you up to wild out like whoa. Let me see you bounce and dip it down low. You're about to feel something that you ain't felt before. If you didn't know, well now you know. The beat's got you up to wild out like whoa. Let me see you bounce and dip it down low. You're about to feel something that you ain't felt before. If you didn't know, well now you know.
And man, for that as well, we shot a video. I entered a music video competition called 2020 Visions. And originally, they held the audition processing kind of part of it at host, but then it led to the actual competition itself taking place all over the city, and I was one of the 20 artists who was chosen. And you got paired with a director, and I got paired with Phil Hawkins. He's a professional director. He's worked with everybody across the industry. He's in London right now doing film and everything. He's tremendous. He shot my video, and he was such a visionary. He had it in his head that we'd shoot the first HD video for a music video. I thought I was insane at that point. I was like, HD video? Because by that point, nobody was doing, you know, HD videos at that time. You know, we're talking like 2006 times. So then, boom, shot the video and everything, did the song. It was crazy, and it really kind of expanded me into the greater realm of the music industry on a mainstream, quote-unquote kind of level, but still being independent. And the wardrobe itself, my friend, wardrobe itself was where we did the North Side record label kind of presentation, so to speak, where people were performing their debut singles and things of that nature. And that's where I dropped mine as well with my performers and everything, with my dancers and all that. Cocky was on stage with me as well. Cocky's on the track, actually, big up Cocky K every time. And also from there as well, it got, I remember we managed to get it later on down the line, managed to get it played as well via the BBC. Thanks to Chris Enriapia up here at that time when he was working at the BBC. He was a major proponent in my career, helping me get things forward radio-wise, helping me get things moving and things of that nature. And then we came back again to do a next performance here. Cat from MTV Base, if you remember the Cat man, he bigged me up non-stop. And I forget that was one of my favourite shows I've ever done. And we even had a freestyle part at the end of it whereby Cat, because Cat's a mad dancer, myself, Bowback, and my boy Chris as well, we all got to have a little freestyle session together. It was phenomenal, one of the greatest experiences I'll never forget. I remember for the video, for the 9-0 video, I was mad at Chris. Chris, if you see this, I'm still mad at you to this day because you got injured the day before the shoot. And I remember I was vexed. I was so vexed. But thankfully, Leon came on board. We did the thing. Killed it. Great memories. Studio Leeds. Now I've rehearsed here since 2013, and I never forget because I met my boy who I love dearly, incredibly talented. He's in the West End at the moment in the teeny musical. Once that starts back up after everything kind of calms down, Matt Mills, he started a dance kind of group / company called Lloyd's Collective, and we got talking because he contacted me over the internet just for some advice about show business and that some years prior. And I was like, yeah, so I just gave him some advice on that. And then all of a sudden, because he's from the ends as well, but not that many people know that. I guaranteed you'll know his family and stuff, but you would never know it's him. So then he took that further, but more so in the theatre direction, and just ran with it to have a great career. He's phenomenal. I love working with him. So we came down here. I remember I came down just for the actual masterclass style thing, just to kind of get back into things. Because by this point, I was beginning to recover from a serious illness, which I have, and I hadn't dance not done anything in a long time because I was recovering. So I came down, did the thing, we really bonded. The masterclass and everything went well. That's why I met Sarah Grace Hobson as well. And Kat too. My God. Just so many great memories with those guys. And it was here whilst we were doing all the dance stuff, was that whilst Glorious Collective was performing, I was like, hey, I've got a performance coming up at the Movie Video and Screen Awards and I need dancers. And they were thankfully gladly involved. You know, Kat Smith, Sarah Grace Hobson, Matt Mills, all were down with me to actually get this performance done and make it the epic kind of outcome what it was.
MarQus Romelle.
Started here, I met them here, I met so many other great dancers here as well. Everybody rehearses down here, so if you're a dancer, you know about Dance Studio Leeds, you know, Yorkshire Dance Studio Leeds, all of that. It's kind of where we all kind of congregate. I think it was a great kind of opportunity to mesh as well my two worlds of music and dance together. As you know, I'm a part of both communities, so it was just amazing to do that. And having spent so much time here rehearsing for shows, rehearsing for tours and everything, and being a part of Glorious Collective, doing everything from here to the International Fitness Showcase down in Blackpool, where I met Tony Stone. He's one of the world's leading choreographers to like Britney Spears, Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake and everything. Before, I had some great advice with him and everything, so some great photos with him. He's a legend. I love that guy so much. Dance Studio Leeds has provided so much opportunity, and the owner Katie, she's just lovely. She's like the loveliest person ever. I love her to bits. And it was just here. We also shot, actually, we did a dance routine to Give Me Some More by Busta Rhymes, which was choreographed by Sarah Hobson, and we shot it just down there where that breathe van is parked, and we had all the car set up and everything with the lights and that, and we shot that there too. That was actually shot by my girl Laksha too before she moved away, which was great. So that's another great memory we have here as well. And in that studio there is also where we had the Lightsaber Academy too, with my boy Ryan, and geez, that was incredible within itself. And just like come down here for jam sessions and everything as well, just to unwind, you know. I have to remember I came back here after I'd been on tour, I'd come down here and just dance, you know. But I remember Lakshmi gave me a call one time after I just come back up tour. She was like, hey, you free? I was like, I'm on the train from London. She's like, you want to come down and jam? So I was like, yeah. We just came down and had a quick freestyle session. It was beautiful, man. I love this place. I really do. For that now I touched upon earlier when I was doing the battle at Gatecrash of the UK battle. There, what I ended up winning when I went up against my girl Ella. My gosh, just looking back, the girl is still phenomenal. I love her to this day. Like I said, part of the winnings of that was to go out to Atlanta to be in Chris Brown's video and meet him. But the deadline had passed by the time the battle ended for the video. It was kind of weird timing. So, but still ended up going out there. I took my girl Shay with me as well. Ended up going out there. It was tremendous. And actually met Chris as well, one of the nicest people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting and encountering in my life. His label people were really cool, and we just chopped it up for like a bit hangout. It's funny as well. Bus joke, hanging out. He kept saying that. He kept forgetting that was from Leeds. He kept saying London. I think he thought Leeds was in London. But yeah, it was all good, man. It was all love. You know, it was an amazing guy, and it was a concert. After that, just got to see the show VIP with him. There was Neo. Cherish. I bumped into Yin Yang Twins and T.I. at the mall. That was fun. At Lenox Mall, that was so random. You know, bumping into T.I. I literally bumped into T.I. It was crazy when I think about it. And then after that now, I remember I was doing a TV show called Chances, and I went on there. Performance was cool. It wasn't great because I had like 24 hours to prepare. It was cool. And that was to go back out to the States with Matthew Knowles, who obviously, you know, Matthew knows from Destiny's Child, Beyonce, blah, blah, blah. But I remember when the label guys died, he was horrible to me. He was like, yo, put the mic down, leave music alone, man. It's not for you, rare, tear, boom, boom, boom. After that, a year later, where they end up, Los Angeles, California, doing music with the same people who had worked with Nike and Disney and Gladys Knight and Justin Timberlake and Tony Braxton and seeing all these platinum plaques on the wall. I'm like, what the hell? This is crazy. So I'm in the studio now recording the song. Man stops the tape, says to me, hey dude, you kind of remind me of you're like a young Michael Jackson. Pretty cool. Anyway, go back to it. I'm gassed at this point.
Moving, shifting, and shaking steady on my paper, chasing, no lazing and no time wasting. Success is all I'm engaging. My hustle, no, it don't stop. Go till I drop. Ladies love me when they see me, bra straps pop.
Now, Millennium Square, this place will always be special to me because I remember at the time, I think I was working at Game at the time as well. And we'd done the Now You Know video and everything. And all of a sudden, Brethren runs in to me one day and says, yo, I just seen your video. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, thanks. And I said, nah, I just seen your video. I'm like, well, where? On the big screen. I was like, what big screen? Like the big screen in Millennium Square, blood is there. So I'm like, what? So I thought, it can't be. So I kind of left it, and then a bit later down the line, I came up here. And I see a video playing on this big screen. I'm like, oh, shit, yo, what's going on? The video's playing. All this time, I didn't know why, who, how, what. So I'm like, what's going on? And then funny enough, it turned out it was the same amazing person, Chris Enriapia, who actually hooked that up because he used to look after the big screens at the BBC. I said he'd been pushing my stuff hard. He even invited me down to the BBC for a meeting one time as well to discuss my music and next steps and things of that nature. He was so supportive of everything. Before I even met him, he was showing me love by playing my video on this very screen. I'll never forget that. I'm so thankful for that to this day. And then it was like this whole kind of area, because even from a dance perspective too, but I was like, no, I used to work at Gatecrasher as well as a dancer, thanks to my girl Shay, who hooked that up as well. And that's where I met Shay, met Chris, met Cassie. I love those guys to this day. We had a dance group going, we used to call Renegade at the time as well, and we did like loads of clubs up and down and everything, especially Gatecrasher. That was like the spot where we were every Thursday night for the R&B night. We launched that, and we kept that going. And it got bigger and bigger as people knew we were performing as well. We always killed that. And as a dancer, you know what it's like in the clubs as a dancer, you're always throwing down and things of that nature. Anyway, you come with this freestyle or battling. And at the time, for a while, I was heavy into battling. No, where you had the MCs battling and everything, I was on the dance side battling. I was throwing down, catching bodies. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually a two-time champion as well. I won a Fresh Jives. Fresh Jives was put on by Tony Green and 10 Ton Shane Fenton. They put that on. That used to go on as well in town, I believe too, and it was a huge breaking event as to whereby all the b-boys, the street dancers would come down, show their stuff. It was tremendous time. It was a beautiful time because that was our scene. Our scene was strong in the b-boy especially, and we went out there, did the Fresh Jives battle, won that was dope. A bit later on down the line now, I was like, oh yo MarQus, Chris, it was Chris. I remember it was coming up from the Playhouse one day, we just come from a show down there. He says, yo, MarQus, I'll come back to Leeds and everything. Just to be right, there's a battle going on. I says, where? At this point, I'm heavy into battling now. So I'm like, where, when, how? I don't care who it is, I'll battle. You know what I mean? That was my attitude. And then he was like, oh, yeah, Gatecrasher, but by this point, I'm kind of tired. You know, just come back from London. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm never really feeling it. He was like, nah. Come down, do it. I was like, no, I don't know if I'm really feeling it. He said, just come do it, even if you just come check it out, just come do it. So I remember I didn't even change. I was already pretty decently dressed. I went over there. I thought, I'll just check it out, see what's what. A massive UK battle. Been all over the UK, and I met my girl Ella there as well. She's a DJ now as well. She streams on Facebook too with her DJing set. Ella Gums, and never forget that. I saw this girl come in with a kicks on her shirt with a name on the back, heels around the neck. I knew straight away she was going to be a problem on this dance floor. I was like, nah, yo, Chris, watch out for her. I was like, nah, we're going to be in the final. I was like, no, watch out for this girl, Ella. She's going to be a killer. Lo and behold, who's in the finals? Myself and Ella, because by this point I decided to enter, see what happens. Myself and Ella in the finals, Leeds and Manny. She's from Manchester. It was a tough battle. She really, I had to perform the hell out of that battle. But technically, she was better than me. And I told her that. But I just had the performance factor, which won the crowd over because of the performance, the showmanship of what I was doing. So I ended up winning and things of that nature. So from there now, what that led to was going to Atlanta to meet Chris Brown, but we'll get to that. And that was a whole different story. But yo, around these parts, from the shows to the battling, and also actually with LS7 Results at the Carriage Works, the second show that they put on was also in the Carriage Works Theatre too. That's another place, like this whole area here was just special to be music and dance wise. The Auto Academy, this place, for one, I just love these venues up and down the country. If you ever been to a performance at an Auto Academy, and I'm talking about, they're beautiful. And I remember I was on tour with Lioness. Lioness are an amazing band. They do an Amy Winehouse tribute. They're incredible. I love them to pieces. I love working with them. Love singing with them. They're phenomenal. And on part of the tour, we came back to Leeds and where we were performing. Auto Academy, and I'm like, oh, this is big, because I hadn't, throughout all the touring around the country, around Europe and everything, going out to the States and all of that stuff. It was like I hadn't performed in Leeds in a long time. And to this day, I don't really perform in Leeds anymore. I'd love to. But most of the stuff that happens has just been outside. So it was just nice to kind of come back and really set feet in my hometown to show everybody what I learned, what I've been doing. And it was just great. We did 2 performances here, 1 year after another. I think 18 and 19, I believe that was. 17, 18, 19. Around that time, we did a lot of tours in between there. I remember we came back to the O2 Academy twice. Loved it. We smashed the whole thing down. It was great as well. It was nice seeing familiar faces too, familiar faces in security, familiar faces in the crowd. We just love this back in my hometown performing. I love this place and I miss it, being away so much. Nobody really knows what you're doing. So it's just nice to show people some of the stuff what I have been doing. So the O2 Academy, for me, I love this place, and I'll come back here again and do a proper full-on headline show. That'd be dope for my next project and that. So yeah, man, O2 Academy was phenomenal. And then I was able to have the opportunity to shoot my EPK out there. It was on my first EPK out there too, which was nice, walking down this Hollywood Boulevard. I think there was a premiere going on at that time as well, seeing all there was another artist there as well, busting his mixtape and that out. Everybody's on a hustle in LA. I met about 4 different Spider-Mans. I met about 6 more Jack Sparrows. And there was a lady, there's a lady in Los Angeles. She dresses all in, at the time, she dressed all in pink. She had a pink Lambo, pink rims, drives around. She's just rich, just drives around. That's the type of people you're dealing with in LA. It was mad. And then we pulled up in Hollywood. And I got out the car with my cameraman, and I see this lady pull up in a black on black Range, black rims, black tints. I'm expecting some roadman to jump out the car. Nah, this 4'11" chick with her heels in her hand has to jump down off the side. Mad. I'm like, yo, but it just puts into perspective the levels of things you're dealing with. From there, boom, come back to the UK. That's what linked up with all the stuff with Bobby V and Omarion, Ollie Murs and all them guys, and then having the opportunity to go back on tour with 5 Star as well on top of that. So yeah, we're about to do this show. It should be big. Let's get it.
Woo!
What up, Carrie, baby?
Miss Carrie, baby.
I never forget, around these parts specifically, was when we were doing the Eugene summer school at the Leeds University. That was great. That was like a summer school for Afro-Caribbean males and Asian females to really experience higher education, life, media, performance, all that things of nature. And that was with the Youth Commission, I believe. That was just great to be involved in that, being involved in youth work, being able to give back whilst working in the industry as well, which also led to the projects in Portugal and France with the Drums from Kingstown and the Arts and Dreams 1 and 2 as well that we did. Alongside that, which was bringing us young people from all around Europe together to do a show and put it on really, for the people. And that was tremendous. And from there, it just kind of led on to the Live and Unsigned tour, which was basically a competition as to whereby unsigned artists would enter, and then the prize at the end was either get signed and go on a tour, or just to expand your career from there. And I remember we did this show. I think my audition was in Newcastle originally. Then we did the actual show itself in Sheffield. Killed the show. Remember at the end of it, I had so many Leeds people from Leeds came down, my Birmingham people came down. It was crazy. They got the whole crowd chanting my name at the end of the performance. It was mad. I never forget that. And then from there, I didn't win. Overall, the final was in London, and overall, I came 3rd out of the 10,000 entrants. I was vexed at the time, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm competitive, but my cousin put it into perspective. My cousin just normally says everything's just all right. He never says anything's good. And then he says to me, I was staying with him, he pulled me aside and said, "Yo, MarQus, you came 3rd out of 10,000 people, you should be proud of that." you did well, man, you smashed it. And to hear him say that, you know, because it's hard to impress him, I was like, yo, I was extremely grateful for that. And from there, that actually led to the Live on Unsigned tour, and where we went all around the south of the UK and everything, and that was a tremendous experience. And I'll never forget doing that. After the show, the second show or so, they handed me some pamphlets. I was like, what are these for? And this is all, it's for you to sign for people. Like, nobody's going to be wanting my autograph. What do people want to want my autograph for? They don't know who I am. They just enjoy the show. He pulled me outside, and then he said, look, and there was a queue of people. I was like, what? Who are they? And they were like, they're for you. And I was like, what? And it was mad. They said, people want to sign, want my autograph. I never understood why. It was crazy. Like, why? My autograph, that's what's going through my head. They were just showing so much love, and I loved it so much. It was just great, and that's where I learned, you know, the power and importance of what you're doing, and how everything comes full circle. Because the same engineer who was doing that show remembered me from when I first was brought into the game with 5 Star. He remembered exactly who I was and who I was with, and he says, "Oh, I remember you. You were that kid with 5 Star." I said, "Not to worry, I'm gonna make you sound great. Look at you now." And then, because he knew me since I was a kid, and then to see me now. And to him to remember how cool I was as a person, in his words, and how nice I was and courteous and everything. It's amazing how people remember you and how you were and how you made them feel coming forward to that performance, for him to making me sound tremendous because you remembered everything and how I was from before, myself. Out of 5 Star, Alexander O'Neill and all the other legends that were there, he remembered me, and that's crazy. And I'll never forget that experience. That was just phenomenal. And what that led to from there, you know, being able to do shows like at the during Carnival and things of that nature. When we did the show, opening for Bobby V, that was dope. When we did the show for Marion, you know, that was dope. When we did the shows around for Harlem FM Christmas Lights and all of that stuff, you know, for the Saturdays and all of those awesome people. And I remember one of my favorites was right here in Leeds, in town. It was Carnival time, and we were opening up the gigs. This gig, he killed it. Remember, he killed it. It was one of the Carnival after parties right there. I was on just before gigs, and he was one of the nicest people I've ever met. So courteous, so lovely, and he smashed it. Of course, it's gigs. I was there right there up in VIP and gigs right there. I was sat in this place by mistake, didn't realize. But man, he was so nice about it, and you know, it wasn't road or anything like that. Even these people that were so cool, and I respected that. Yeah, good times. We did the shows again across the UK. Went out to Jersey too, which was phenomenal for the big gig in Jersey. One of the biggest festivals I've ever seen or done in my life. I forgot, was it how many people? 100,000? I forgot the amount of people who were involved in that, and I had an interview with the BBC. Thanks to Denise as well, because they realised that 5 Star brought me in the business. So to be on a show of that scale, with every artist there, from the contemporary artists like Ollie Murs and all them guys, blah blah blah, to legends as well. So you have you're right there with people like Sister Sledge, with people like Soul to Soul, with people like Alexander O'Neill, with all these legends, and you're like, man, and then there's you there, and they're welcoming you, giving you this advice. It's crazy. I remember Alexander O'Neill coming up to me, shaking my hand. This is Alexander O'Neill. This is mad. And also I got to give a big shout out to Adrian Grant as well, because he was a close personal friend of Michael Jackson. He worked with Michael Jackson from the Bad Album onwards. And he welcomed me into his home as well, you know, let me stay down there when I was down south, gave me some great advice, gave me some great opportunities as well. He actually heard my music, right, when I was down there, when I released my EP, and he heard 20 seconds of it, turned it off, said I'm buying it, bought it in front of me, and iTunes, not stream it, he bought it. And iTunes said, you're good, I really like what you're doing. Michael would have loved it too. So I'm like, yo, this is the guy this is Michael Jackson's close personal friend telling me that I'm really good. I see pictures of him with Michael all over his yard, which is amazing. He welcomed me into his home, gave me great advice, great opportunity. I'm forever thankful for that. Some of the people I've had the pleasure of being around and who've mentored me, you know, Denise, Stedman, the whole Pearson family. I'm forever grateful for that. I couldn't have asked for
Baby, don't be shy, just let your eyes, your lips, your touch, your kiss. I've never known a love like this. Your love has got me caught up in the mix. Your eyes, your lips, your touch, your kiss.
Newton Park basketball courts. This was my serenity. Complete. This was my calm. This was my peace. This was where I'd come to just unwind after whatever I was doing, whether it was school, rehearsals, a show, coming up here to just shoot hoops by myself was just a thing to clear my head, a thing like just to enjoy, unwind, have some fun. I remember it just be myself shooting and a gang of grown folks just playing ball. It was amazing. That's why I thought here, because I've taken you on a journey around what I've been doing, where I'm from, where it all started. So what better place to end it than my serenity, my peace, mind. Just thinking about everything what's been going on, from the opportunities that have arisen in the over the NBA 2K to now writing my own cinematic audio-visual experience. All boils down to these ideas coming from my serenity when my mind's at its most calm. And basketball always relates to that. It's amazing how intrinsically linked basketball and music are. Because I can't imagine my life without it, even though it was just a hobby for myself and something what I did for personally, just for own personal enjoyment and to unwind. It was much more than that personally, not just creatively, but just for my own sanity as well, just to keep everything in check and keep balanced and keep my energy aligned. Here's where I would bring it. And just thinking back over the old years and everything what's to come, apart from my new cinematic project Beauty and the Beat, what we're doing, I was fortunate enough as well to get into the gaming industry via my music when I got in touch with somebody from Square Enix via Facebook, which was crazy, for EGX, which is like the biggest gaming expo in the whole of Europe. It was in the Birmingham EC at the time. It's now in London. I've done both of those. I was with Square Enix. They did like Tomb Raider, Final Fantasy, Hitman, all that stuff, and I was working with them at the time on the promotion for those games at EGX. You get talking to people from the company. One of them said to me, have you ever thought about soundtracks for video games? And that's another thing I want to get into as well as we move forward into the future, is scoring and soundtracks. Because I've always wanted to do that, being a big gamer myself. I love it. And on top of that too, speaking of 2K games also make WWE games, and I've been a massive wrestling fan from day. I mean, if you were a kid in the 90s, 2000s, you know about wrestling, you know about D-Generation X, Nation of Domination, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go back a little bit before that, Tatanka, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, the Smoking Guns, the Heart Foundation, what? Yo! So that inspiration, I think, we weren't just wrestling fans. It inspired us, it made us want to do great things. When you saw The Rock doing his thing on the mic and in the ring, when you saw Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know what I'm saying? When you saw Eddie Guerrero, when you saw Rey Mysterio, these inspire you to do these things, to go further. And if you listen to the music and wrestling, that's what you remember. So you guarantee if you're a wrestling fan, you know everybody's theme tune to this day. And I thought, imagine what it would be like to create that. And thankfully, I was given the opportunity as well to even interview on a panel a few wrestlers too at the London Film and Comic Con. A few legends who were there. Ted DiBiase was there, Melina Perez was there, a bunch of other wrestlers. Rey Mysterio was there. I managed to get photos with them as well. It was nice to be able to interview them and speak to them, as well as attending Raw and SmackDown throughout the years in London. I mean, come on, it's Raw and SmackDown. You know how it goes down. Shane McMahon! I'm still a wrestling fan to this day, so for me, that as well, wrestling was another escape, another thing that I loved. So the fact that I could potentially be involved in that as well moving forward, that's one of my aims. So I hope that's one of my goals for the future, is scoring and soundtracks for those things, to continue in the gaming industry. Because, having worked with Square Enix, PlayStation, Nintendo, all those brands are really moving that forward. You get to understand a different part of the business you don't really think about. So again, with that clear mind, what things like basketball bring me, it's nice to kind of expand my mind further beyond the confines of just being a quote-unquote performing artist. You know what I mean? So just coming back here now, I feel so calm and so blissfully at peace. It's incredible. Just looking at the courts now. I was wondering, how many shots have I put up on that rim? I don't know. From childhood to manhood. And I remember when I came back from London, actually, we were doing a show called Street Jams. At the time, I was in Lock and Key. And I remember I came back and my boys were shooting hoops here like it was all the time. So I managed to get some shots in before the show, which I shouldn't have done, because one time I did that at Mandela Centre when I came back from London, and I ended up hurting my ankle before I went back down, so that was dumb. That's one of the reasons I had to stop playing. But forever, this place will always have a special place in my heart. It will always be my serenity. It will always be my peace. A loud festival performance just smashed. Dwayne, what you got to say to the camera, Dwayne?
What's up?
Yeah, we're on stage. Just got off stage. So yeah, catch you soon. We out.
Have a hickey.